morning, that signal was already gone. And if you look at why this is happening, the government essentially says they have reached a breaking point with how the French media handles their security situation.
The South Africans, they lazy. Hey! Pito, Bokeke, all those things, will be there morning tonight. Then they'll go look for where they go smoke. Charlie, you said other nationalities, they can't sell drugs for South Africa. Massa, where there is no demand, they can never be supplied.
But history shows us that this can be complicated. Do you remember Charles Taylor? When he came back from America, what did he do to Liberia? He enslaved his own people.
Satellites that see FDS committing mass assassinations, and the same satellites are unable to see terrorists organizing to go attack. Your satellites, are they binary or what?
So Ibrahim Traore has banned a French TV station from Burkina not to come there to air anything or take any news or whatever from there. They have been banned. And also there is a Lebanese man who is saying that Africa or Ghana calling the black diasporans to come back home. It is dangerous. I don't know what you will say about this as an African, but he is currently living in Ghana and he has been living in Ghana for a very long time. And also I have other videos of Africans sharing their thoughts about whatever is going on in South Africa and all that. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking. Just give the video a thumbs up. Let's go into the video.
Now, Burkina Faso has pulled the plug on the French television channel TV5 Monde, accusing it of disinformation over its coverage of terrorism in the West African country and its neighboring Mali.
This decision follows the discovery of numerous breaches of the law, ethics and professional standards in the channel's coverage of topics related to the fight against terrorism in Burkina Faso and the news surrounding the terrorist attacks that occurred on April 25, 2026 in Mali. The errors, which involved disinformation and the glorification of terrorism, were noted in several broadcasts of the evening news between April and May 2026.
That statement, firstly, really sounds like a government that has simply and really run out of patience, and you can't blame them. That decision came from the Communications Council, and it was final. They did not just give a warning this time. They signed the papers to take TV5 Monday off the air immediately. So as people woke up across Burkina Faso this morning, that signal was already gone. And if you look at why this is happening, the government essentially says they have reached a breaking point with how the French media handles their security situation. They feel that every time there's a report about the army or the conflict, it's written in a way that makes the country look weak or even divided. And for a nation that's literally in the middle of a war, they see that kind of reporting as a threat and not just a news story. And of course, this is the third time TV5 has been in hot water since 2024. At some point, as a person or a professional, you also have to ask yourself, is this even journalism, or is it a deliberate attempt to make the people of Burkina Faso lose faith in their own defense? And we have to look at the timing. If you think back to just a few days ago, in fact it was late April, we saw these massive coordinated attacks by separatist groups linked to Al-Qaeda. They hit several towns at once, Kidal, Gao, even towards the heart of the country. It was a dark moment and a very heavy blow to the region. But the part that French channels do not highlight or are not highlighting is that while the Western media was busy painting a picture of total collapse in the Sahel region, Russia's Africa Corps was on the ground, standing shoulder to shoulder with troops to stop a repeat of a Syrian disaster. The Africa Corps even found evidence of European and even Ukrainian mercenaries helping to train these separatists. So while these French channels are reporting on jihadist violence, they intentionally leave out the fact that Western intelligence is behind the curtain trying to destabilize the region. And Russia's Africa Corps is calling it out for exactly what it is.
Thanks to the courage and heroism of the soldiers of the Africa Corps of the Russian Armed Forces, it was possible to prevent a Syrian scenario in Mali. Ukrainian and European mercenaries participated in attacks on government facilities and units of government forces in Africa. An attempt by Western intelligence agencies to violently overthrow the government and demonstrate Russia's inability to protect its strategic partners on the African continent following what happened in Syria has been thwarted.
It is about a coup. It's not about a news report. But Burkina Faso isn't acting alone. They are coordinating with their neighbors this time to stop this coordinated media assault. If you look at last November, Mali also had to kick out TF1 as well as LCI for the exact same reasons. These channels were caught red-handed, if I may put it that way, using the airwaves to manufacture a crisis. They weren't just mistaken. They were telling the world that the Malian government had banned fuel, that the entire regions were under a total blockade, and they were pushing the most dangerous lie of all, saying that the capital was about to fall. It seems like they wanted to spark a panic. They wanted people to run. They wanted the world to believe that the terrorists were winning. In fact, listen to how these French experts were describing the situation on the ground back then.
The terrorist threat is becoming more prominent in the southwest of the country. You see, it's all these little purple areas here. And it's especially dangerous where it is approaching the capital Bamako. Since September in this region, the JNM is multiplying vehicle attacks on roadways that it manages to block. The Malian authorities even banned the sale of fuel in the city to try to cut off the jihadist groups. These groups were dispersed, fragmented, but since then, we've seen it, they eventually spread to the south of the country. Despite Operation Barhan, which followed in 2014, they are now close to taking the capital, Bamako.
And this is the disinformation that Burkina Faso is talking about today. It's not one bad report. It's about a pattern to try to belittle the population and the military. So the government's logic this time is quite simple. They believe that if you are a foreign broadcaster funded by a government that you are having a political fallout with, like France, then you can't possibly be neutral. So they are choosing to cut the cord immediately and entirely. So for Burkina Faso, it's about taking back control of their narrative.
Burkina Faso has banned French TV over disinformation. So they say that the coverage of the terrorist attacks that took place in Burkina Faso were misrepresented by the French TV, and it has been banned in the country. Now, France is widely accused of involvement of trying to destabilize the countries of the Sahel alliance. These are the countries that have fought so hard to break away from the French imperialism. And it seems like France has been very angry about being banished from the western part of Africa, and they are making every effort to find an anchor somewhere in Africa. It is clear that William Ruto is very welcoming to foreign bodies who are looking to anchor in Africa, and so France has been embraced and in East Africa, but there is no appetite for France in the western part of Africa, and therefore Burkina Faso has said that the TV channel is not welcome in his country.
The government of Burkina Faso took a very drastic decision yesterday by completely banning the TV5 Monde, they call it TV5 Monde, broadcasting center from Burkina Faso. They were banned yesterday. And why did they do that? They have been committing several breaches, right? And from time to time, they would be suspended. And after that, they would be permitted to keep doing their activities again. But the event that took place in Mali on the 25th and the 26th of April 2026 gave a clear-cut example that that media is nothing else but a terror media. The first thing is, when the attacks happened in Mali, those guys were immediately aware of what was happening, and they started talking about it. They were talking about it all day, calling their so-called experts to come amplify. And you know, that is a terrible weapon, right? You guys can see how Donald Trump is using the media to try to see if he can neutralize the mindset of Iranians. That is the same thing that those media houses were using. right, to use the communication aspect to completely destroy the morals of the Malian troops, the Malian people, and then be able to gain control over the country. That's what they did. And the second thing, they didn't stop there. They did not limit themselves at that level. They went as far as inviting the head of the terrorist groups on their platforms to talk about how they were able to neutralize some key sectors in Mali. I'm talking of the heads of the terrorist groups. They had the effrontery to invite them on their TV platforms to sit there and talk about what they did in Mali. We can ask a question here. Why is it that they did not broadcast the neutralization from the Farmer, the Africa Corps, and the AES task force? No, they didn't show that, right? They showed the part, and some of the videos that they showed were videos of last 2 or 3 years when Kidal was still under their control. They took the videos, edited them, and were showing and publicizing the videos that Kidal has fallen and all of that. Why is it that when the Africa Corps, the Farmer, and the AES task force started neutralizing the T guys, you could not see that part on their media? Those guys are nothing else but T media houses. The Burkina government, after analyzing everything they did, yesterday they took a drastic decision to ban them once and for all from broadcasting in Burkina Faso. To that, that's a great job to the CSC department. That's the agency in charge of communication. They finally took the decision yesterday, and TV5 Mount is not going to exist anymore in Burkina Faso. Great job, people.
Is Africa making a mistake with the Welcome Back Diaspora movement? In Ghana, there's a big campaign to bring back diaspora Africans back to Ghana. It's a good thing, but history shows us that this can be complicated. Do you remember Charles Taylor? When he came back from America, what did he do to Liberia? He enslaved his own people. You see, these people come back from America with experience, with money, with resources that you don't have yet. So they come to your country and they establish new businesses that you still don't know how to do. So it's a big debate. So, okay, yes, there are benefits with having the diaspora movement, like the year of return, but there are also many complications. What do you think?
People are protesting. Water, electricity, education, health, housing. Those can't be blamed on foreign nationals who make up, by the way, less than 4% of our population.
Tabi, you look like you want to jump in?
Yes. You know, my brother, I think you imagination when you talk. When he says that we hate foreign, we're using this illegal immigration issue as an attack to the Minime when I'm listening to him. It's not that we hate foreign nationals, and we're not against the people who are coming to trade illegally in our country. Of course, South Africa needs people that could assist in terms of the revenue of our country. But let's go deeper to this issue. The people who are not here in our country, who are here in our country illegally, what do we do about them? Being them as Kupanang, how do they assist to make sure those people must go out of our country because they're here legally? To me, those people are criminals. And another thing, when he says those people must be documented, how do you document somebody that come in our country legally and want to be documented in the country where he is illegal in our country? That's not fair to our law.
I want you to respond, then I'll move on.
Sure. The first thing is to say that the fundamental problem of the documentation crisis lies with the Department of Home Affairs. There's been a documentation crisis. The asylum seeker, for example, is tens of thousands of people. People who come in illegally come in because the actual legal avenues are not available to them. So if you close off the legal avenues and you say you have to wait 6 years in order for example, if you're a doctor, we have doctors here from West Africa who cannot work simply because of the red tape. So it's not just about your spaza shop owner or your person who's trying to take a low-paying job on a farm. We have very skilled individuals who cannot get these kinds of things. That's a problem not of those individuals who are not here illegally, but are here because there's a documentation crisis in our own country. The second thing is what we have said. As Kopanang, we have said this very clearly, that the way to deal with this problem is to deal with reforming our immigration system. You don't go and attack spaza shops. You don't go and beat up foreign nationals, which is what we saw on the other day. People being hit because they are Ghanaian. because they look something. That goes back to apartheid days, when we started judging people on the basis of what language they had, what skin color, and the way they looked. That's a very dangerous path to follow. So I'm glad to hear them say, that you're saying that you don't hate, because if we allow that hatred, in the United States, in Europe right now, people of color, people who are black, people who are there are being basically repressed simply because of the way they look. If we started becoming like that as South Africans, we go back to the past that we all fought for, and many of us died, many died for those freedoms.
My brother, as I dey talk to you right now, no, as I dey talk to you, Massa, Ghana, but if you play Ghana under 4.5, you go cut.
Republic.
Ghana be too much.
He take them go.
Okay.
He took them all go. He take them.
Massa, I dey talk some people. You can never compare any other country for this Africa to Ghana. I know they talking because you be Ghanaians. Me, I know what. Charlie, if you play Ghana under 4.5, you go cut. Ghana over 4.5 all the time. You not go play Ghana, go. That's straight win. Ghana be number one. No. On a very serious note. The South Africans, they lazy. Hey. Pito, Bokeke, all those things, he be there morning tonight. Then they'll go look for where they go smoke. Charlie, you said other nationalities, they come sell drugs for South Africa. Yeah. Massa, where there is no demand, there can never be supply. Yeah. If nobody they drink Belacqua for Polo Park, you can never sell Belacqua. It's as simple as that. Sure. It's just be as if somebody they go East Legon or Transaco, they go sell pure water. Who go buy from you? So they think, no, the people see where the market for drugs they put them inside. Then they can't kill them. You cut it from the source. Take your people to rehab. Rehab where they South Africa plenty past schools because everybody they smoke drugs. That is it. Why are they not bringing the drugs to Ghana? Who get time for drugs? For I saw those nonsense. If you had them top musicians and all those people where they there, then you can't be the people say they do this thing. No junkies, no they here. That they can't kill the foreigner. Charlie, if there is no demand, there can never be supply. Ghana, what they move for Ghana, no? You see food. You see all these them phone gadgets and the things because Ghanaians are more enlightened than the South Africans. Somebody they protest say foreigner must go. No? In Nokia phone when they use now that one where they use hammer nail. all those Nokia phones say fall for concrete go make way. Even in the use. How many people go get iPhone 17 Pro Max there? That's what you go check. Ghana here then they innovative. Small boy the whole 17 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max. So the market for accessories, that's why there's accessory shops all around. Yeah. It be true, Ghana here. No, I can tell you that right now as you be like this all your life for Ghana, you cannot list 10 people where you know where they smoke ice, where they take cocaine. You don't know them because the market is not here. There. Then they do one like morning breakfast. Father go buy, mother go cut your own, children go cut them and they go to smoke out together. Then you can't talk the people say the people who get the problem, the people where they sell them. Charlie, they can't put gun for your head, say make you buy before. They put gun for your head, say make you buy before. You want to talk to me now, say you don't know where they sell weed. Why you know the rush go buy? They force you smoke weed before. There's somebody they doing business, so you don't force you, they can't do. Say that they spoil your yes. Say other nationalities they can't sell drugs, then they take them at jobs. They can't fight. You forget what? My brother.
What's happening in South Africa has me so thankful for Kenyans. Kenyans have to be the kindest Africans I've ever come across. The fucking kindest as an African immigrant fleeing war from Somalia. The way I was welcomed in Kenya, the way I felt like I was at home in Kenya, the way they instilled work ethic in me, and the way they instilled my love for education comes from Kenya. My love for education is because I grew up in Kenya. My work ethic comes from Kenyans, seeing Kenyans early in the morning just hustling, and it just has me so thankful. I'm so thankful for Kenyans. Shout out to you guys not directing anger at immigrants when your government failed you. Shout out to you guys for welcoming immigrants. Shout out to you guys for giving me a safe home, for giving me a safe environment, for just making me feel safe, making me feel like I was at home. Yeah, just shout out to Kenya.
When Africa ran the world, we didn't do it with guns. We did it with intelligence and spirituality.
Gotcha.
When the Greek and Roman philosophers came to Africa, they didn't come because we made them. They came because they wanted to. Socrates wanted to come. Plato wanted to come. Aristotle wanted to come. You feel me?
Gotcha.
They were so impressed with what we were doing that they wanted to come and learn. We ran the world with the strength of our spirit.
Gotcha.
Nobody ever done that before. So I believe that if the world is going to be put back right, we're going to have to play a major part in that, because I believe we may be the only people who can love unconditionally, care for people unconditionally, and not expect anything in return. We are the original humanitarians. There's been studies done where they went to non-blacks, whites and others, and said, if you got to go on a jury trial for your life, who you want in that jury? And the white folks chose black people more than white people. You want trial for your life?
Yeah.
They said, I want a jury full of blacks.
I like that.
Because everybody knows we will treat you fair no matter what.
Right.
It ain't about how much money you make. It ain't about how much education you got. We losing that though. We losing that. We get real stingy and selfish. But for the most part, throughout human history, African people have been the humanitarian, with the spiritual, with the spirit warriors.
The main reason why I think, these people are able to get away with so much is because they have a culture of being fake. They are not direct people. They are very indirect, right? They never tell you what they really mean. They never say what they really think. They're always tap dancing around the truth. So if you're dealing with a race of people that are liars and like misleading people, you'll get away with all types of stuff. They create the perception of being polite and being well-mannered. Meanwhile, they do all of the same crap behind closed doors.
How can a power say, or in a report, claim that satellites saw the FDS commit mass assassinations? Satellites that see FDS committing mass assassinations. And the same satellites are unable to see terrorists organizing to go attack. Your satellites, are they binary or what? So, they watch by choice. So your satellites, when it's your people, your men, we see nothing. So there's still a problem. So I'll take the case of Gaddafi. It was exactly the same narrative that was used against Gaddafi.
We now have a generation that believes everything about colonization was wrong. It wasn't. There were some terrible things and there were some good things to come out of it.
I'm saying that colonization, the empire was wrong. It was wrong, full stop. Profoundly racist set of basically invasions of other people where we subjugated people to our rule and sort of made them work for us. It was completely
made their countries work.
But imagine yourself in the shoes of a 13-year-old boy hearing you say that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What do they then? How do they then carry that through life?
Well,
in terms of who I am as a Brit.
Like, imagine a 13-year-old African boy hearing you say that, hearing that his history began with slavery, that his people were primitive, that they were unsanitary, that they were uneducated, that they needed saving. How does he carry that through life in terms of who he is as an African? And you see that question that she asked, yeah? It's actually very revealing, because what it's really asking is, how do we protect identity from uncomfortable truths? How do we preserve confidence without fully confronting history? And here's the issue with that, yeah? History is not supposed to be shaped around comfort. It's supposed to be shaped around truth, because the version of history that you are given becomes the foundation of your identity. And for many African people, especially those of us in the diaspora, that foundation was distorted, because long before colonialism, African societies most definitely had systems of governance. They had structured cities, they had trade networks, they had universities, engineering, civilizations, you name it, they had it. But that's not the version consistently taught. So what does that do to identity? Because the way you understand your history becomes the way you understand yourself. And the way you understand yourself shapes how you move through the world. And this is not just about the past. It's about the psychological inheritance. It's about what you are taught to believe you come from, and whether that foundation is built on distortion or on truth. Because one builds confidence and the other, that has to be undone, and often much later in life. And here's the part that people don't say enough. Even when you do find the full history, even when you encounter the truth of what your people built, knowing it and feeling it are not the same thing. Because the damage was not just informational, It was psychological. And information alone does not automatically undo that. That is deeper work. That is work of truly understanding where you come from and letting it land. Now, I want you guys to imagine something different, yeah? Follow me. Imagine a 13-year-old African child first encountering their history through its full truth, through structure, through achievement, through complexity, through wealth and riches. Imagine what that does for their sense of self. Not just in what they know, but in how they carry themselves. And now imagine a 13-year-old British child being taught the full truth of history, not to induce guilt, that's not what we're trying to do, but because their identity is also built on an incomplete story. Because if you're taught that your country civilized the world, that your history is one of progress and superiority, that is also a distortion. And it also shapes how you move through the world, how you see others, how you see yourself. Incomplete history does not only harm the people it erases, it harms everyone that it misleads. Because truth, when handled properly, it doesn't weaken identity, it deepens it. And that is why culture preservation matters. Because if history is not told accurately, identity is built on distortion. And then people spend their lives navigating the world from a foundation that was never fully true. Think about it.
You know, I like the way Ibrahim Traore is moving, because this particular media house or the French media or TV station, I learned this is not their first time, just churning out misinformation all the time, especially about the Sahel, you see, and you have been given chances to redeem yourself, to basically do the right thing, but it seems like they have an agenda and that is what they want to do as a media house. And the Sahel and Burkina Faso have decided not to give them any chance again, but now ban them. And I really like that. I feel even that Sky News reporter that some time ago, I shared her video here. Listen, all of these people should be banned. You see, if they want any news, it should come from Burkina Faso's media and they can pick it up and go along with it externally, not even internal. They cannot even come in to do anything, because this is what they want to do. They will change the narrative and make it look like bad things are happening in the country. Like next thing you see, America and France and all these people want to invade and do whatever. We don't want that. So hey, I really love how Ibrahim Traore has handled this. Now let's go to this Lebanese guy talking about the diaspora coming. It's dangerous for us because Charles Taylor of Liberia came back from the diaspora and he basically came to rule them. I think he has a valid point. For me, I think it is not something that we should just trash away. He's making sense, but for me, in a way, we calling the diaspora to come back, I think it's not a bad thing, you know. But if there are some elements of these diasporans who might do certain bad things in this country, I think it is something that we can easily see. You know, people will show signs. So immediately that person starts showing signs, we should just kick that person out or something. But I don't think it's all the diasporans that are going to create chaos, because most of them, when they come here, what Ghana for instance want is that they want them to integrate. And you know, and even if any diasporan will get the position of probably becoming a minister, a leader, whatever, that will be their kids. Honestly, that will be their kids in the future. And I think by the time we get there, these people will have the Ghanaian mentality and know how to govern properly as an African, not with the American mentality. You understand? So let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens in the future. Thank you so much for watching.